की जय, वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। आज शक्ति जगदम्बा देवी मैया की जय। हरि ओम। सबको इसी तरह शुभ स्वागतम as we extend a very warm and cordial welcome to each and every one of you this morning. Those of you whose footsteps have led you here physically to the Mandir and joining with us here at Krishna Mandir of 40 Todd Street, San Fernando, where we engage in puja, where we engage in satsang this morning, and where we use the opportunity to immerse ourselves in the presence of Bhagwan. For those persons who are joining us virtually, either on YouTube or on Facebook, again, we extend very cordial welcome to you. This morning, as we come together as one family to offer our love, our adorations to Bhagwan, we do so filled with sincerity and filled with that supreme belief that whatever be the difficulties that we may be experiencing, whatever be the anxieties that we may face, whatever be the trepidations before us, with the blessings of that Almighty, All-Merciful God, all of these difficulties would be removed. We stand this morning as we engage in invocation, assuming that position of reverence, assuming that prayerful attitude and demeanor. And as we clasp our hands, close our eyes, bow our heads and go within, we indeed visualize that form of God that we find most endearing, most appealing to us, and we offer ourselves in prayer. Let us join together. Hari Om. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namah. Om Shri Saraswatye Namah. Om Shri Guru Charana Kamalebhyo Namaha. Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvara. Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhadrakali Kapalini Durga Kshama Shiva Dhatri Swaha Swadha Namostute. Vasudeva Sudam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Bande Jagatguru. Nagindra Haraya Trilochanaya Bhasmangaragaya Maheshwaraya Nityaya Shuddhaya Digambharagaya Tasmai Nakaraya Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandram Abhirase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaye Pataye Namaha. Om Manojavam Marutatulya Vegyam Jetindriyam Buddhimatam Varishtam Vatatmajam Vanaryutamukam Shri Ramadutam Shri Shri Namami. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Mehdi, let's resume our seats, and as we engage now in Kirtan, we propitiate Ganesh Bhagwan. Let's pray together.
Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh Deva. Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh Deva. Mata Janki Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Mata Janki Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh Deva. Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganesh Deva. Mata Janki Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Mata Janki Parvati
प्रेम से बोले श्री गणेश भगवान की जय. We continue in our expression of love to Bhagwan as we join now in rendering those verses of Hanuman Chalisa where we offer our love and our adoration to Mahavira Swami. These are verses that we're all very familiar with. They are very powerful, very meaningful verses. And let us all join together. Let us clap and sing as we engage now in Hanuman Chalisa.
चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधार वरनो रघुबर विमल जसु जो दायक फल चार बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार वर बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार. जय 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 हनुमान जय 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 हनुमान जय 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 हनुमान जय 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 हनुमान जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस त्रिपुलोक उजागर राम दूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन वरन विराज सुवेशा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केशा और ध्वजा विराजे हाथी मूंज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिवे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिवे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हरषि उर लाए रघुपति कीनी बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत सम भाई सहस वदन तुमरो यश गावे हस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीषा नारद शारद सहित अहीशा यम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीना राम मिलाय राजपद दीना तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना युग सहस्र योजन पर भानु लील्योताहि मधुर फल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मिले मुख माई जल दिला अचरज नाही, दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते।
राम
तुम्हारी तुम रखवारी, होत न आज्ञा बिन पैसारी, सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी शरणा, तुम रक्षक काहो को डरना। आपन तेज समारो आपे, तीनों लोक भागते कापे, भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे। नाशे रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंतन हनुमत बीरा। संकट से हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम बचन ध्यान जो लावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे। चारों युग परताप तुम्हारा, है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत की तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नवनिधि के दाता, असबर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुमरे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा।
तुम्हारी भजन
राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म की दुख बिसरावे। अंत काल रघुवरपुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चेतन धरई, हनुमत से सब सुख करई। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा।
जय
जय जय हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई, जो कही मन महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होई सीधी साखी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, कीजय नाथ हृदय महादेरा।
पवन तनय संकट हरन, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुरभूप। जय 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 हनुमान, जय 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 हनुमान। जय 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 हनुमान, जय 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 हनुमान। जय 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 हनुमान, जय 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 हनुमान।
प्रेम से बोले श्री महावीर स्वामी की जय. I'll just invite the some assistance in setting up a mic stand near to the podium as we get ready for our presentation of Bhagavad Gita shlokas. So if we could have one of the mic stands set up there. And as we've been doing every Sunday for this entire year, we've been reading shlokas from Bhagavad Gita collectively, and we've been doing so in English. As our young presenter gets prepared to do that this morning, let us all sit upright as we engage in 3 shlokas from Bhagavad Gita Dhyanam before we commence our reading this morning. So we sit upright as we engage in these shlokas. Hari Om Partaya Pratibhoditam Bhagavata Narayininya Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaita Varashanim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Amba Tvam Anusaddhadami Bhagavad Gita Bhavedishini Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Bhande Jagadguru Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangulang Deyake Kirim Yat Kripatamaham Bhande Paramanandamamaravam Om Shri Krishnaya Govindaye Namo Namaha. So last week we were on chapter 4, and we had ended, I believe, at verse shloka 20, and we'll be picking up from shlokas 20 straight on to 30. And I therefore invite to the podium young Aditya Umrao, who will be leading us. I invite you to take copies of the Bhagavad Gita, touch to your forehead as you offer your pratna, and then turn to chapter 4. And we start from shloka 20. And we read together with Aditya, all of us.
Okay, Sitaram everyone. Having subdued his mind and body, and having... Yeah.
We'll start from 20. Start from 20.
He who, having totally given up attachment to actions and their fruits, no longer depends on anything in the world, and is ever content, does nothing at all, truthfully engaged in action. Having subdued his mind and body, and having given up all objects of enjoyment, free from craving, he who performs sheer bodily action does not incur sin. The karma yogi, who is contented with whatever got unsought, is free from jealousy, and has transcended all pairs of opposites from joy and grief, and is balanced from success to failure, and is not bound by his actions. All his actions get dissolved entirely. Who is free from attachment, and has no identification with the body, and is free from the feeling of mind, whose mind is established in the knowledge of self, who works merely for the sake of sacrifice. In the practice of seeing Brahma everywhere as a form of sacrifice, Brahma is the ladle in which oblation is poured into the fire. Brahma is the fire. Brahma itself is the sacrificer, and so Brahma itself constitutes the act of pouring oblation into the fire. And finally, Brahma is the goal to be reached by him who is the absorber, who is absorbed in Brahma as the act of such sacrifice. Other yogis duly offer sacrifice only in the form of worship to gods, while others perform sacrifice by offering the self by the self itself in the form of Brahma. Others offer as sacrifice their senses of hearing, etc., into the fire of self-discipline. Other yogis again offer sound and other objects of perception into the fire of the senses. Others sacrifice all the functions of their senses and the functions of their vital ears, prana, into the fire of yoga in the shape of self-control kindled by wisdom. Some perform sacrifice with material possessions, some offer sacrifice in the shape of austerities, some striving souls, observing austere vows, perform sacrifice in the shape of wisdom through the study of sacred text. Other yogis offer the act of exhalation into that of inhalation. Even so, others the act of inhalation into that of exhalation. There are still others to be given to the practice of pranayam, breath control, who, having regulated their diet and controlled the process of exhalation and inhalation both, pour their vital airs into the vital airs themselves. All these have their sins consumed away by sacrifice and understand the meaning of sacrificial worship. Thank you.
Prem se bole Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. We touch Bhagavad Gita again to our forehead before placing down. Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai
Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai
Radha Raman Hari Govind Jai Jai
Radha Raman Hari Govind Jai Jai
Radha Raman Hari Govind Jai Jai
Govind Jai Jai
Gopal Jai Jai
Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai
Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai
Govind Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai
Prem se bole Shri Krishnai Govindai Namo Namaha. So I'll invite the teachers of the children's class. So all of the children, you're moving across now quietly with your teachers to the Balvihar class. All of the kids, all of the younger ones, those of you who may even be new for the first time, we invite you to join in. Wonderful, wonderful program. Lots of coloring, art, various stories. And as that is taking place this morning, our pravachan will be led by members of the Bhagavad Gita class. And so we are all very familiar with this class that is conducted virtually and physically, and it is led by Pandit Anil ji. So I will invite Anil ji to please introduce our pravachan this morning.
Om Gam Ganapate Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sitaram, everyone. I'd just like to start off by saying thank you to Pandit Rudy for allowing our Gita class to speak today. And I'd just also like to say thank you to my papa for springing this on me just yesterday when you know I have a lot of schoolwork to do. Okay, so last 2 weeks, our Bhagavad Gita class held a workshop and we selected a practical topic to discuss. Our class then broke into groups and discussed it. Each group debated the topic and reported back with the root cause and then the solution based on the Gita. The topic is, Duryodhana was speaking to Sri Krishna. He said, "O Krishna, don't give me your advice. Do you think I don't know what I'm doing? Of course I know what I'm doing. My problem is this. I am aware of dharma, but I cannot do the right thing as it were. I am aware of adharma, but I somehow cannot stop doing it. There's some strong deva, in this context the strong force, present in my heart. This deva is controlling me, and whatever his intentions, I am merely executing it." Now I'll invite Uncle Ramnarayan and Auntie Sherry, who will now provide their views on, number 1, what is the case of Duryodhana's behavior, and 2, what is the solution to this behavior?
Sitaram, everybody. Um, I just want to say we didn't rehearse anything, so whatever you get is exactly what came from our thoughts and ideas. Now, first of all, Duryodhana was a prince, and he would have been exposed to the best teachers in the kingdom in all areas, both in military affairs, in governance issues, and no doubt in matters of faith and following Dharma. So he was well versed in these things. However, those things need to be internalized and practiced, and some of them are quite difficult. If you look at in chapter 6, where Lord Krishna goes into how you should meditate. And he says, Arjuna says, but meditation is so difficult because the mind is like the wind. But you have to practice. You start small and you practice. And in the case here, what it was felt is that the Duryodhana failed to internalize these things and to start practicing in a small way. So when there came a time for him to make the big decision, he was not prepared. And I just want to refer you to chapter 6, verse 5 and verse 5 and 6. And I remember sitting here and hearing Pandit Devendra read this out to us. One should lift oneself by one's own effort, and one should not degrade oneself. For one's own self is one's own friend, and one's own self is one's enemy. One's own self is the friend of the soul by whom the lower self, consisting of the mind, the senses, and body, has been conquered. Even so, the very self of him who has not conquered the lower self behaves antagonistically like an enemy. And I think that is what we think is the problem here, because Duryodhana has not controlled his senses and the lower self, and therefore he's allowing the lower self to be in charge, and it's behaving as an enemy in this case.
Okay, thank you, Reverend Supla. I endorse everything that you all said. As it is, Duryodhana, we all have Duryodhana in us. That force pulling us here, there, in every day in life. His mindset, his conditioning from birth, his way of his together with his father, Dhritarashtra, this selfish aspiration to regain their cousin throne, the Pandavas' kingdom, the battle of self versus self. A slave to the senses. Duryodhana was a slave to the senses, and we all sometimes. Unable to control BMI, body, mind, intellect. A mind pulled towards objects becomes entangled. How? For instance, food. We want a doubles. We pass in the doubles man, we say, yes, it's tasting good, it's smelling good. We don't have one, we have two. How many of you stopped at the doubles man this morning and had one or two? You know, we go after wealth. But how? Waking, sleepless nights, getting up early. Our health starts to depreciate. We do like Duryodhana, we go desire for fruit, the iPhone. How many times we have to grab that iPhone and doing what? We don't know. We just pull. We just pull. Then there's, okay, where am I? Yeah. The fame, the property, quest for land, recognition. All this is what Duryodhana was doing. Operating at the level of the senses, one cannot understand the self. His ego was out of control. I, me, mine. I have to get it. He was definitely in for disappointment. The arrogance of these men led to anxiety, frustrations, attachment, greed, maya, worldly pleasures, clouded vision, jealousy. He was truly blinded by his action. Karma played a part. Sanchita karma, prabhada karma is a very important factor in this play of life. Karma is action at 3 levels: body, mind, and energy. Whatever you do on these 3 levels leaves a certain residue or imprint upon you. When there is no imprint of karma in consciousness, you experience every action, and experience becomes liberating. Let's find a solution. The solution to this Andorian pull, that constant deva, that force that pushes us, is to be present, stilling. Regarding everything as belonging to the Supreme, maintaining equanimity and desire for fruit, renouncing attachment and with utmost faith and reverence, surrendering oneself to self through thought, words, and action. Mind, body, speech, control senses, go within, purify oneself, have integrity, focus on the breath, yoga. Yoga eliminates all these different sort of quests. Meditation, knowledge of self through Gita, scripture, that helps. One cannot understand Atma self at the level of the body. When thoughts and objects are eliminated, then the mind becomes clear, and eliminate the mind becomes clear, get clarity, and a higher level of awareness occurs, and then Atman is perceived. This is meditation. Remembering, understanding our purpose of who, what, how, letting go. Claim nothing, just enjoy. The journey is made very worthwhile with the practice of the songs of the Gita. It awakens great possibilities. Shri Krishna Arpanam. Jai Shri Krishna.
The case study that was presented is something that we all face in every aspect of our lives every minute. What is it that is internal to us that pulls and pushes us? Srimad Bhagavad Gita was the first text taught to humanity. It was taught to Vivaswan. And it gives us the tools to achieve the 4 goals in life. Kam, Arth, so desire, ambition, recreation, wealth, prosperity, good fame, are all things we have to achieve in this world. But we must do so flanked by dharma and moksha. When these 4 are in equilibrium, brilliance in performance in this life occurs. In our roles as fathers, mothers, employees, employers, in society, brilliance occurs. So the issue that Duryodhana was facing, he was seeing Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna went to say, "Oh Duryodhana, please, let's stop the war. Let us not fight over property. There's more than enough for all of us." And Duryodhana outlined in a beautiful speech to Sri Krishna, "Hey Bhagwan, do not lecture me on what is right or wrong. I know what I am doing, but I cannot help myself. I am pulled towards X. I am pulled towards this. I am repelled by this." For example, a newborn baby that is expelled from its mother's womb starts to cry. The baby grows up, laughs when gets a toy, cries when is hungry. Since birth, we have grown up full of raga and dvesha, moving towards sense objects, being repelled by sense objects. Sri Krishna says, "Hey, Arjuna," and to all of us, we are meant to be successful in this world, and we are meant to have a happy life, yes, with the material possessions that we have, that we need. But there's a way to do it. So when Sherry G spoke about the doubles, for example, right, we are drawn towards food. We are repelled by food. Some of us like food with pepper. Some of us like mild food. What is this thing that creates this constant pull and push? And if we understood that, we can then rise above it and achieve our objects in life. And our objects in life could be better health, financial prosperity for our children, better education, or just a quiet mind, or just a mind that has fewer thoughts in it. And the case study examines Duryodhana's conversation with Sri Krishna. And Sri Krishna said in chapter 3, shloka 33, he said, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Shadrisham Chetashe Shwasyaha Prakriti Jnananam Api Prakritim Yanti Bhutani Nigraha Kim Karishyati. Even a wise person, like all of us, have to act according to our nature as if compelled by force due to the effects of the objects we seek, better education, money, fame, prosperity, better health, a quiet mind. Those are the objects. So all of us in pursuing this act according to our nature. Some children we will see, and the beautiful children in the Mandir, you can hear their voices. They are adept at music. They are adept at singing. Some will be adept at mathematics, English. It is as if their own nature is propelling them in that direction. And Sri Krishna is explaining the science behind it. You see, the Ramayana is a beautiful text that explains how to live life. Srimad Bhagavad Gita explains the science behind the why and the how. Both are complementary. So the situation that Duryodhana has outlined is, what is it within me that is causing me to act in a way that is not optimal? Where I feel that I'm doing everything possible, but I'm seeing my peers do with less effort go further than me. Or maybe I just can't help these thoughts. Where are these thoughts coming from? Right? Both good and bad. A turtle now hatched immediately crawls towards the water rather than the land. It's as if driven by its own nature. So too we in this human body, and both my Baya and my Didi mentioned this, both the body, mind, and intellect have been conditioned based on the past karma and also our upbringing. But you know what? What got us here ain't going to get us to the next level in life. And Srimad Bhagavad Gita helps us to understand the techniques used to get there. So, what is the solution? If we understood the root cause, what is the solution? Sri Krishna then goes through all of the different shlokas and said, listen, the solution is as simple as it is difficult. The solution requires practice and consistency. For example, our dhyanam, our meditation, when we go and offer Havan, and Aditya had very eloquently chanted those shlokas. One of the shlokas he says is that when we offer Havan, using the ladle or the spoon, that is Brahma or Brahm. When we do all of these actions, that is Brahm. When we do puja, the first beneficiary of puja or Havan is ourselves. The devatas, our first devatas, are the senses. So when we do puja, when we light the agarbatti or the flames, we are nourishing the senses and purifying it, just like the Hanuman Chili said this morning, with the dust of the Guru Sweet, we purify our senses, our mind. So we are purifying all of these things. That is what Sri Krishna is explaining as the techniques to get there. So the case study was a very compelling one. We broke out into 3 groups to try to explain what is it in the human conditioning that creates the raga and dvesha, and secondly, what is the solution? So this is a very summarized version of the conversation. I want to thank the Bhagavad Gita class, my Baya and Didi. So give them a round of applause. It was sprung on them at last, a very short notice. We did not really collaborate on it. But that is the nature of Bhagavad Gita, right? So to close, Vasu will chant a shloka, and then we will end.
It's from chapter 18, the last verse. And it translates, wherever there's Arjun and Sri Krishna, there's Lakshmi Mata who brings prosperity and success. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdaraha, Tatra Srir Vijayo Bhutir, Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. On behalf of you, the congregation, I offer this to the feet of Sri Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Thank you, and Sitaram.
So we want to extend a profound thanks to Anil Ji and to members of the Bhagavad Gita class, Uncle Ramnarayan, Sherry, and Vasudha, for very, very wonderful presentation this morning. Very profound, but very practical. So those of you, when you're leaving here, passing by the doubles man, remember the senses are pulling you in one way or the other. Do I go to Outies or do I go by the doubles man by Massey? Which doubles man do I go to? But very seriously, though, it is indeed that battle that we are engaged in on a daily basis. We know what is the right thing to do inherently. We know what are the things that we should avoid doing, yet as though drawn like a fly to a light, we are constantly drawn sometimes in the directions that we should not be heading. And the control of the mind to help us to avoid that is very, very profound. And our strengthening of our purpose through puja, through japam, through the study of our scripture is indeed very, very powerful. At this juncture, we hand back over to members of the Kirtan group who will be engaged in Kirtan while you come forward and perform your arati. We have some celebrants of birthdays coming up. So Nadia is celebrating her birthday tomorrow. And Mala Didi is celebrating her birthday on Tuesday. Yes, please give her a round of applause. And our Pujari Anil Ji is celebrating his birthday on the 27th, which I believe is Friday or Saturday. Yes, so he's celebrating his birthday on the 27th. So we want to extend birthday greetings. And all other persons who are celebrating birthdays, wish you will tell Amy happy birthday, right? And Vidya Bisesa, if you are listening to us, Vidya, we are missing you in the Mandir. So we are extending birthday greetings to you as well. So we hand over now to members of the Bhajan group while you come forward and perform your arati. Of course I said Mala. We come forward now.
हम दुखियारे तुम दुख मोचन काटो दुख के घेरे ओ भगवन काटो दुख के घेरे ओ भगवन हम तेरे हैं तेरे ओ भगवन हम तेरे हैं तेरे ओ भगवन मात पिताली बंधु भगिन है मात पिताली बंधु भगिन है एक नहीं गुरु वर अनगिन है एक नहीं गुरु वर अनगिन है नाते तेरे मेरे ओ भगवन नाते तेरे मेरे ओ भगवन हम तेरे हैं तेरे ओ भगवन हम तेरे हैं तेरे ओ भगवन दया क्षमा समता जल से भर दया क्षमा समता जल से भर तेरे चरणों से बल लेकर तेरे चरणों से बल लेकर जीवन नदी बहे रे ओ भगवन जीवन नदी बहे रे ओ भगवन हम तेरे हैं तेरे ओ भगवन हम तेरे हैं तेरे ओ भगवन अपना लो जन आराधन अपना लो जन आराधन दो आदेश मुझे गुरु दर्शन दो आदेश मुझे गुरु दर्शन दूर करो अंधेरे ओ भगवन दूर करो अंधेरे ओ भगवन हम तेरे हैं तेरे ओ भगवन हम तेरे हैं तेरे ओ भगवन तुम स्वामी हम तेरे ओ भगवन तुम स्वामी हम तेरे ओ भगवन हम तेरे हैं तेरे ओ भगवन हम तेरे हैं तेरे ओ भगवन हम तेरे हैं तेरे ओ भगवन
कान्हा कन्हैया नंद लाला वो मुरली वाला ऐसे बजाई मुरली मुरली आ जादू भरी
कान्हा कन्हैया नंद लाला वो मुरली वाला ऐसे बजाए मुरली मुरलिया जादू भरी
कान्हा कन्हैया नंद लाला ओ मुरली वाला ऐसे बजाए मुरली मुरली आ जादू भरी
कान्हा कन्हैया नंद लाला वो मुरली वाला ऐसे बजाए मुरली मुरलिया जादू भरी
देखो कुंवर कन्हाई कैसे रास रचाए ऐसे तान सुनाए
our final bhajan before our announcements.
मननो मुरलियो राते तारू नाम मननो मुरलियो राते तारू नाम मारी जू पड़ी आओ मारा राम मननो मुरलियो राते तारू नाम मननो मुरलियो राते तारू नाम मारे जो परियो आओ मारा राम एक वार आवी पुरु हैया केड़ी हाम एक वार आवी पुरु हैया केड़ी हाम मारी जो पड़ी आओ मारा राम मननो मुरलियो राते तारू नाम मारे जो पड़ी आओ मारा राम सूरज उगीने मारे युग तेरे आशा संध्या दलीने हूँ तो बनू रे निराशा सूरज उगीने मारे युग तेरे आशा संध्या दलीने हूँ तो बनू रे निराशा रात दिवस माने सूझे नाही काम मारी जू पड़ी आओ मारा राम मननो मुरलियो राते तारू नाम मारी जू पड़ी आओ मारा राम આખડીએ મુને ઊંચું દેખાય છે દર્શન વિના મારું તલે દૂધ બે છે આખડીએ મુને ઊંચું દેખે છે દર્શન વિના મારું તલે દૂધ બે છે નૈણે આવો તો વાલા જાસે મારા પ્રાણ મારી જુ પડી आओ मारा राम मननो मुरलियो राते तारू नाम मारी जू पड़ी आओ मारा राम एक वारा वाला तारी जानकी थाय जे आसुन बिंदु ते धाव तरफ करे आसवार वाला तारी जानकी थाय जे आसुन बिंदु ते धो तड़ पड़े मागु सड़ा तारा चढ़नु मावास मारी जू पड़ी आओ मारा राम मननो मुरलियो राते तारू नाम मारी जू पड़ी आओ मारा राम एक वाड़ आवी पुरु हैया केड़ी हाम मारी जू पड़ी आओ मारा राम मननो मुरलियो राते तारू नाम मारी जू पड़ी आओ मारा राम मननो मुरलियो राते तारू नाम मारी जू पड़ी आओ मारा राम आओ मारा राम आओ मारा राम
प्रेम से बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय. So we conclude before we stand for Archie. A few announcements. Once more, I want to extend a very special and cordial welcome to each and every one of you this morning. Those who may be with us for the first time, those of you who are back with us physically after some period of absence, we extend a very warm welcome to each and every one of you, and to all of those persons who are viewing us online. We extend a welcome to you. We continue every Sunday morning from 8:30 to 10 a.m. and we invite you to join with us physically if possible, and if for any reason that you can't be here physically, then please join us online. Those of you who would want to make contributions or donations towards the maintenance, upkeep, and running of the Mandir, you can see any member of the management committee after service to give your contributions and to receive your receipts for those contributions. Those of you who are viewing us online, you would see our banking details that are noted on the screen below, and you can make your contributions there. We depend upon your generous donations in order to continue the activities of the Mandir. Regular classes continue, so tomorrow, on Monday, we will be having our yoga classes from 5:30. Again, dance classes take place on a Tuesday together with music classes conducted by Rana and Susan Muhib. There are BVS classes that are conducted by Prashant Ji. Those are on Saturdays, and that's music and Hindi vocal as well, and that's from 1:30 on a Saturday. And those of you who want to focus exclusively on tabla classes, Shri Kiran Sankar conducts tabla classes on a Thursday evening right here at the Mandir, both beginners and intermediate level. So a lot of activity taking place, and we invite you to partake and to avail yourself of these opportunities. The Shri Sevak Sabha will be celebrating its 70th anniversary, as we've been announcing, and in commemoration, and one of the kickoff initiatives of that celebration will be its grand tea party that will be taking place Saturday coming right here at the annex of the Mandir. And those of you who have not yet gotten tickets, I think there are a few that might still be available. Oh no? Okay, I'm told it's a sold out event. So we're looking forward to seeing you all with us on Saturday as we join together in marking this very noteworthy occasion. There will be a satsang, one night satsang that will be upcoming, and that will be on the 7th of June. So you're all invited to note that and to, as we would say, book the date so that you could be here on that evening. Pandit Devendra will be officiating on that evening, so we look forward to seeing you all with us. Again, birthday greetings to all persons who are celebrating their birthdays, persons celebrating their anniversaries, and so on. Any momentous occasion, we want to extend Bhagwanji's blessings to you all on this occasion. Finally, as I conclude, a couple Sundays ago, we did make mention of a certain thing that we wanted to take a stance on, and that is the scourge of crime that is affecting us in this country, in every corner, in every nook of this country, in every strata of our society. We are impacted adversely by crime and the criminal element. As a move towards showing our solidarity and indeed trying to ignite, as we would say locally, lighting a fire under the people who have the ability to deal with it, we want to, and we have planned in conjunction with the NGO, the non-governmental organization or non-profit organization, known as the Concerned Citizens for a Better San Fernando. We are planning and we are executing a motorcade and rally, and this will be taking place on Saturday, the 3rd of June, starting at 9:30 in the morning. So the motorcade begins at that time from Palmis Boulevard, and the route of that motorcade will take us through Palmis to cross into Laramine, into the Gulfview area, down on the Independence Avenue, Lady Hills Avenue area, up High Street, down Pointe-a-Pierre Road, into Marabella, up the bypass, into Coquier, Pleasantville, and then we end coming back down into Rushford Street and Sutton Street onto Lewis Street grounds, Naparima grounds, where we will have an interfaith service. This is not political, so no politicians will be there. No politicians will be speaking. If they want to attend, they're free to do so. But this is really the voice of the people, the voice of you and I, who have had it in terms of holding ourselves as prisoners in our own homes, restricting our movements, and being in fear wherever we go, lest we be attacked by the criminal element. Much discussion is taking place throughout the length and breadth of this country about secure rooms and safe rooms in your house, about acquiring horns and all kinds of different things that you need to have to protect yourself. And really and truly what we need to do is look at some immediate solutions. And one of the outcomes of this, which will make it different from just having a rally and a prayer session, is that we are going to formulate at least 3, no more than 5, solutions that are achievable in the short run that we want our leaders to address now. Not next month, next 3 months, next year, but now. And some of those are very easily achievable. We want scanners at our ports of entry to ensure that no illegal guns and ammunition are coming in. We want our ports locked down so that that type of activity, because many guns are coming into this country through legal ports of entry. We also want our illegal on our porous borders to be stopped, and that can easily be done by effecting our radar service, which is down and non-functional, by ensuring that our Coast Guard has workable interceptors that can be used to intercept those illegal things that are coming in. We want an immediate dismantling of gangs in this country, and we want our various political parties to come together to say unequivocally, if you're a member of a gang, or if you are found guilty of an offense involving arms and ammunition, or you're charged of such an offense on more than one occasion, then you should not be allowed bail. And those are some of the things that we need to do as an immediate short-term measure until long-term measures such as influencing our social fabric, looking at vulnerable areas, creating jobs for disillusioned and disenchanted youths, and indeed looking at our education system. So persons who are frustrated because they cannot function in an educational environment where one size fits all are catered for, so that they can be trained and they can be given a worthwhile profession that they can sustain themselves and their families without feeling the need to turn to crime to be able to do that. Those are some of the things that we want our leaders, the ones with the resources, and I mind you, our resources. Sometimes we are told, well, you know, it's like the government or whoever it is doling out monies from their own pocket. Bear in mind, those taxpayer dollars are our dollars, and therefore we should demand effective use of them. Rather than spending billions of dollars in legal fees, let us be proactive in terms of using those resources in the appropriate way. And it is not peculiar to any one administration. This has been happening for far too long under every administration. So we, the people, demand better. So we are asking you to join with us. Let us send that message loud and clear. Let us invite others throughout the length and breadth of this beautiful country to do likewise, so that the voice of the people will really be the voice of God. I invite us now to stand as we engage in final arti and closing prayer. Will Shrotas come up for Puranahuti?
Om Jai Jagadish Hari Swami Jai Jagadish Hari भक्त जनों के संकट दास जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे ओम जय जगदीश हरे जो ध्यावे फल पावे दुख बिन से मन का स्वामी दुख बिन से मन का सुख संपत्ति घर सबके प्राणपति स्वामी सबके प्राणपति इस विधि विनोदया में इस विधि विनोदया में तुम हो मैं कुमति ओम जय जगदीश हरे दीनबंधु दुख हरता तुम रक्षक मेरे स्वामी तुम रक्षक मेरे अपने हाथ उठाओ अपने हाथ उठाओ द्वार पर तेरे ओम जय जगदीश हरे विषय विकार मिटाओ पाप हरो देवा स्वामी पाप हरो देवा श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ श्रद्धा प्रेम बढ़ाओ संतन की सेवा ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओम जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे भक्त जनों के संकट दास जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओम जय जगदीश हरे
Hari Om. As we conclude our puja and our satsang this morning, as we conclude our prayer this morning, as we come before you, O Prabhu, with all humility, love and devotion in complete surrender, we ask for your blessing, your guidance and inspiration. We ask for your forgiveness of all transgressions, and we ask you to direct our mind and our heart towards that pathway that would lead us closer to you. We pray for all persons this morning, those who are engaged in deviant actions and behavior. We ask that you influence their mind and their heart so that they will desist from such actions, that they would see the calamity caused by their evil ways, and that indeed that they would restore themselves unto the pathway of Dharma. We ask you to protect those persons. We ask you indeed, O Prabhu, to uplift those persons who are sick and ailing, those persons who may have lost a loved one this morning. We ask you to provide that strength and that solace for them. For you are mother, you are father, you are family, you are friend, you are knowledge, you are wealth, you are everything to us. O Prabhu, we join together in prayer. Hari Om. Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Seka Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Sato Ma Sargamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. प्रेम से बोले श्री गणेश भगवान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, आज शक्ति जगदम्बा देवी मैया की जय, श्री पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय। प्रेम से बोले श्री सच्चे सनातन धर्म की। Turn to those around you, सब कोई जय सीताराम, जय सीताराम। Have a very powerful, a very productive and a very safe week ahead, and we look forward to seeing you all with us again next Sunday. जय सीताराम all.
बार बार दिन ये